Have you ever stopped to ask yourself this question? If money could truly buy happiness, then why do so many people with overflowing bank accounts still feel empty inside? Why do we see stories of millionaires who fall into depression, celebrities who lose themselves to addictions, or wealthy people who admit they feel trapped instead of free? The truth is, money is powerful, but money is not the same as wealth. And understanding this difference could completely change the way you live your life. Before we dive deeper, let me give you a reason to stay with me until the end. If you choose to listen to every word, you won't just hear another motivational message. You'll walk away with a perspective that can liberate you from the endless chase and give you the clarity to build a kind of wealth that cannot be shaken, wealth that brings you peace, freedom, and purpose. That is a reward worth staying for. Now think about it. From the moment we are children, society teaches us that success is measured by how much money we earn. We are told to study hard, work harder, climb the ladder, and gather as much as we can. We are programmed to believe that once we hit a certain number in our bank account, happiness will magically appear. And so we chase, we grind, we sacrifice our time, our relationships, and sometimes even our health just to reach this invisible finish line. But here's the problem. When you finally get there, the finish line moves. You hit one goal and suddenly you want more. The hunger doesn't end, it grows. And what does that tell us? It tells us that money alone was never the answer. Human psychology is fascinating. At the core of our minds, what we crave is not money. It's the feeling we think money will give us. Security, freedom, respect, joy. But when money shows up without those deeper feelings, we are left with numbers on a screen and a heart that still feels empty. That's why people who appear rich on the outside can still feel poor on the inside. They have the cash, but they don't have the wealth. True wealth has always been about something bigger. Think about it. Money can buy you a beautiful house, but it can't create a home filled with love. It can purchase medicine, but it cannot guarantee health. It can give you followers, but it cannot give you genuine connection. Money is limited. It serves a purpose, but it does not fulfill the soul. Now pause for a second and look around your own life. How much of your energy is spent chasing money, and how much is spent building real wealth? When you wake up in the morning, are you fueled by passion, or are you only driven by the pressure to pay bills? This is not a judgment, it is a wake-up call. Because if you're only chasing money, you're setting yourself up for an endless race that never truly ends. Here's what psychology tells us. Human beings are wired for growth, meaning, and connection. When those needs are ignored, no amount of money can fill the gap. That's why so many people keep buying, keep spending, keep searching, because they're trying to feed the soul with things that were never designed to satisfy it. But when you begin to redefine wealth as inner peace, as time spent with those you love, as growth that stretches your mind and heart, something inside you shifts. You stop running and start living. So ask yourself today, what are you really chasing? Is it the money itself? Or is it the life you believe it will bring you? Because if it's the life, then here's the secret. You can start building that life right now, even before the money arrives. You can start by valuing your time, nurturing your health, deepening your relationships, and pursuing purpose. Those are the real treasures. And here's the promise. If you stay with me through this message, you'll discover how to break free from the illusion and start creating a wealth that no market crash, no job loss, and no financial setback can ever take from you. A kind of wealth that goes beyond numbers. A kind of wealth that lasts. Because in the end, money isn't wealth. It is only a tool. And unless you learn to use it with wisdom, it will use you. We live in a world where money is presented as the ultimate measure of success. Everywhere you look, the illusion is carefully built. Social media glorifies luxury cars, designer clothes, expensive vacations, and million-dollar mansions. Advertisements whisper in your ear, convincing you that happiness is only one purchase away. The people we admire often flaunt their wealth as proof of their worth. And slowly, without even realizing it, our minds begin to tie money with happiness, status with meaning, and numbers with value. But the truth is, this is a trap. It is an illusion so powerful that it keeps millions of people running in circles, chasing shadows instead of substance. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill, It is the cycle where we keep striving for more, believing the next raise, the next car, or the next house will finally give us lasting joy. And yes, when we first get it, we feel a rush. That excitement is real. But soon the joy fades, and our minds move the target again. Suddenly, the new car doesn't feel so new. The bigger house doesn't feel so special. The joy we thought would last disappears, and we are left chasing again. That's how the illusion works. It keeps us busy, distracted, and unsatisfied. Think about how this shapes our lives. People sacrifice their time with family just to work longer hours. They give up their health for the sake of climbing higher. They measure their worth not by who they are, but by what they own. And slowly, they forget that money was meant to serve life, not replace it. They confuse the symbol with the substance. They confuse money with wealth. The illusion is dangerous because it is subtle. It doesn't scream at you. It whispers. It convinces you that working until exhaustion is noble. It makes you believe that rest is laziness and that your value depends on constant productivity. It blinds you to the truth that money is only one piece of life, not the entire picture. And when you finally wake up, sometimes years have passed, and you realize you've traded away the things that truly mattered for pieces of paper and digital numbers that never gave you the fulfillment you longed for. But here's what psychology also teaches us. Human satisfaction doesn't come from accumulation. It comes from alignment. When your actions align with your values, when your days align with your purpose, when your choices align with your inner truth, that is when joy flows. And none of that requires endless piles of money. It requires clarity. It requires courage to step away from the illusion and redefine what wealth really means to you. Imagine someone who spends every moment trying to get ahead, but never stops to ask, ahead of what? That is the tragedy of chasing the illusion. You can spend your entire life climbing a ladder, only to reach the top and realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. The world told you that money equals wealth, so you believed it. You climbed, you hustled, you sacrificed, but when you finally reached the top, you found emptiness instead of fulfillment. And the sad reality is that many people discover this truth too late. But you don't have to. You can choose right now to open your eyes. You can step off the treadmill. You can stop allowing society to define wealth for you and start creating your own definition. Realize that wealth is not about having more. It's about needing less. It's about recognizing what actually matters and building a life around that. This is where your power lies. When you see the illusion clearly, it loses its hold over you. You stop chasing approval. You stop comparing your chapter to someone else's highlight reel. You stop measuring your worth in dollars and start measuring it in meaning. And when that shift happens, everything changes. You start to feel a freedom that money could never give you. Remember this, money is important, but it is not the foundation of a fulfilling life. The illusion tells you it is. The illusion convinces you to keep running, to keep buying, to keep proving yourself. But once you see through it, you can take your power back. You can begin to live with intention instead of chasing shadows. You can choose depth over display, substance over symbols, and joy over numbers. Because the greatest illusion is believing that money equals wealth, and the greatest freedom is breaking free from that lie.